I hadn't planned to go hunting, but the moment I set foot in Transanubia and saw the forest edge fields torn up overnight, the hunter's blood in me instantly boiled. The locals weren't surprised. They were used to preparing their guns every rainy season to go clean up. Seeing my excitement, they simply asked, "You in?" I nodded without hesitation, slung my backpack, shouldered my gun, and joined the team. That morning, the sun was shining. The forest was dense, filled with tangled dry branches. Every step had to be cautious because behind any bush could be open ground, or a 100-kilo wild boar lying in ambush. Luckily, I was with locals, people who knew the forest paths like the back of their hand, understood the prey's habits and the spots they frequented. All I had to do was stick close behind and keep a steady grip on the trigger. There was the first target had appeared. It came charging down a slope, moving fast. I raised my gun without a moment's hesitation. The distance was perfect, and the timing couldn't be better. I took a deep breath and pulled the trigger. As expected, the boar was hit and tumbled down the slope. A smooth start, but when hunting, overconfidence is your worst enemy. While lying in ambush in the bush, I suddenly heard a strike. My heart pounded like it wanted to leap out of my chest. The gun barrel was ready. The moment the boar burst out of the bushes, I instinctively pulled the trigger. That surprise encounter sent my adrenaline through the roof. No matter how many hunts I've been on, that feeling never fades. We kept moving and scanning the surrounding area. The barking of the hunting dogs led me to another thick bush. I knew there was another boar hiding in there. The gun was loaded again. When its pointed snout poked out, I didn't hesitate. Bang! A single shot, and it dropped instantly. The path into the bush was tough, requiring careful maneuvering through tight spaces. But when I reached it and saw the massive boar lying still in the grass, I just smiled. Every effort had been worth it. And in the quiet stillness of the late afternoon woods, I once again heard the rustle of dry leaves. A wild boar, no doubt about it. Sure enough, just seconds later, a dark figure appeared. Without hesitation, I raised my gun, aimed, and fired in a split second. The boar dropped on the spot, a satisfying redemption for the frustrating miss earlier. Still not quite satisfied with the day's take, on the way back, I lingered near a small trail cutting through the forest. Who knows? Maybe the final moments would bring another surprise encounter. And sure enough, as if to indulge me, another wild boar appeared. Through the scope, I tracked its every movement. I waited until it stepped into the ideal range. A perfect shot. The boar collapsed right at the roadside. Though today's trip was exhausting and intense, it ended in the most complete and satisfying way possible. My grandparents' farm has suffered repeated damage from wild boars, with the crops taking heavy losses. Now that they've grown old and can no longer guard the land like they used to, that piece of land has become more vulnerable than ever. That's why my cousin Magnus and I decided to head out to go on a hunting trip to protect our beloved family farm. We started moving into the swampy area right next to the farm around 4 p.m., just as the wild boars began foraging. The feed we had scattered earlier had started to do its job, quickly attracting one of the boars. I climbed up a tall tree branch, hiding behind the thick brush. From up here, I had the perfect shooting. Slowly, I raised my gun and aimed at the target. Bang! Got it. I exhaled, heart still racing with excitement. A precise shot, fast and clean, instantly brought down the boar. After that first success, I moved to a new ambush spot. We stuck to our previous strategy, laying down bait to lure the boars.
Dropped him.
I waited for about 20 minutes before a group finally showed up. Oh, not very big in size, but there were quite a few of them. I adjusted my scope. The target this time was the one on the outer edge. Once I was sure it was within my sights, I pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the swamp. Another precise hit, another win on our mission to track down these wild intruders. My friend Magnus wasn't far off. He had just spotted a new target and was preparing to shoot. The animal kept moving, so Magnus had to be patient, waiting for the perfect moment. Once it stepped into a vulnerable position, a pellet from his air rifle struck it down instantly. In under 5 seconds, the boar collapsed before it could even let out a cry. Unlike previous hunts, on these 2 afternoons we chose to ambush from the treetops. The height gave us better visibility, made us harder to detect, and offered more safety. But it also came with risks. A single misstep could lead to a fall, so every movement had to be made with care. When the boars appeared, my heart started pounding. I locked onto my target and pulled the trigger. Got it. I couldn't hide my joy seeing the boar drop instantly. A fatal shot had immobilized it completely. That thrill, it felt like every effort we made had truly paid off. Boars are naturally cautious creatures, but the irresistible scent of bait drew them closer, unaware they were being watched. Seizing the chance, Magnus raised his rifle and took aim. The moment the target was centered in the scope, the shot rang out. It wasn't loud, but it was deadly. 2 boars dropped on the spot. Wow, perfect, powerful shots. A performance any hunter would admire. Our previous location had been exposed, so I had no choice but to quickly relocate to a new ambush point. Before I could even get fully settled, a herd of boars suddenly appeared. A big mistake on their part, but a golden opportunity for us. I swiftly took aim, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle rang out. A clean, decisive shot ended the boar's life in an instant. Satisfaction washed over me. a well-earned reward for the focus and patience that had carried me. In a city in Serbia, locals are facing an increasingly serious threat from wild boars. Weighing up to several hundred kilograms, these beasts have become terrifying monsters, striking fear into many people. To address this issue, Serbian authorities have authorized organized hunts to control the wild boar population and protect local communities. And we were determined to take down every single wild boar that had wreaked havoc on local farms the previous week. In such rugged terrain, with countless twists and turns, we were fortunate to have a pack of hunting dogs by our side. Once everything was in place, I started making my way up the mountain. Within minutes, the howls of the dogs echoed through the forest. A wild boar was surrounded. Everything was going smoothly. I quickly moved in and fired to finish it off. Perfect. My shot hit dead on, dropping it instantly on the spot. Barely 5 minutes later, the team spotted another boar on the mountain slope. It was a golden opportunity one couldn't pass up. I swiftly raised my rifle, took aim, and pulled the trigger. A few hundred meters up the trail, the growling of our hunting dogs put me on full alert. Wow, it had been ages since I'd seen such a large group of wild boars. With my rifle ready, I squeezed the trigger repeatedly, unleashing a storm of bullets. At close range, two of the boars collapsed in a muddy patch, kicking and grunting their final sounds. The deeper we went into the forest, the denser the trees became, making it harder to observe, track, and shoot. Luckily, with help from our dogs, things got much easier. They quickly pinpointed the boars' hiding spots and barked loudly to alert us. The moment we heard that familiar sound, our whole team tightened formation, rifles ready. The chase grew chaotic until a loud gunshot rang out. Unbelievable, a single, clean shot from my friend Morgan dropped the boar instantly. And take a look at our trophy, a giant beast weighing nearly 200 kilograms. Nature always has a way of surprising us with gifts, and today, the wild boars in front of us were the next gift in line. Forced to scatter and flee from the relentless pursuit of our dogs, the herd broke formation. Seizing the moment, I didn't hesitate. I got into position and took aim. After I pulled the trigger, I proudly watched the boar tumble down the slope, my heart racing with excitement and satisfaction. It didn't take long before our sharp-nosed dogs locked onto another target. We moved in, closely monitoring the situation. This time, Elmer would take the shot. Once the boar was locked in, he pulled the trigger. With a single lethal shot, the boar collapsed and rolled down the hillside. They are invaders, spreading disease and wreaking havoc wherever they go. Wild boars. Not only do they cause devastating damage to crops and the environment, but they're also carriers of dozens of dangerous diseases. If left unchecked, their numbers will multiply uncontrollably, leading to catastrophic consequences. Today, we set out with one goal in mind: to hunt down and eliminate these destructive pests. Watch every thrilling moment, every intense confrontation, and see how we take them down. With their sharp noses and extraordinary hunting instincts, our dogs quickly tracked down a wild boar. A dark figure bolted across the endless white landscape, charging forward like a storm. But before it could disappear into the dense undergrowth, I pulled the trigger. A single shot rang out. We climbed higher, deploying our drone to gain a better vantage point over the boar's movement. And it was a perfect decision. Our hunting dogs had locked onto a target, chasing it with breathtaking speed. The pursuit led straight to the open field where we had set up an ambush. A gunshot echoed through the valley, but the boar kept running. It was persistent, but so were we. We fired again. A second shot. The beast staggered and collapsed. Instinctively, they sought refuge, and the only safe place left was the desert. If we didn't act now, they would return in just a few days, causing even more destruction. Our experienced hunting team quickly devised a plan. We split into smaller groups, securing every possible escape route. The highest peak was chosen as the lookout. The barren branches and rugged terrain made our approach difficult. But then a silhouette emerged ahead, our target. It tried to escape, but our skilled hunting dog intercepted its path. Cornered, the beast made a desperate move, charging forward in a final attempt to fight back. I steadied my aim, unshaken. As it lunged, I pulled the trigger. The gunshot shattered the silence, halting its charge instantly. Across the hill, my teammates fired as well. The hunt was over, sealed in gun smoke and victory. Dusk was approaching, but we pressed on, making every second count. From our vantage point on the high ridge, I spotted a herd of wild boars gathered below, oblivious to the looming danger. Years of hunting experience guided our next move. We held our breath, steadied our rifles, and took the shot. The first bullet cracked through the air, shattering the stillness. The herd scattered in panic, but we didn't let them escape. A relentless barrage of gunfire followed, cutting off their retreat. Nearly a dozen boars. Only 2 managed to flee. Like warriors charging in a battle, our hunting dogs sprinted across the battlefield, their eyes scanning every tree, every bush. Their growls were sharp, aggressive. A panicked wild boar dashed across our path. This was the moment. I stepped forward, aimed, and fired. The bullet tore through its thick hide. The beast let out a feral roar before collapsing, lifeless. It had barely hit the ground before our dogs swarmed in to claim their victory. Just as we thought the hunt was over, our dogs erupted into a frenzy, barking wildly at a dense bush. Something was hiding inside. A strange sense of urgency filled the air. This wasn't an ordinary hunt. We tightened our grip on our weapons, ready for anything. Everything happened in an instant. Instinct took over. I pulled the trigger. The bullet flew, striking the beast dead center.
Welcome to an unbelievable hunting day. Today, we will follow the journey of a beautiful yet fearless huntress who achieved an astonishing feat, taking down 99 wild boars in just one day. How did she accomplish such an incredible task? Her tactics, marksmanship, and bravery will leave you in awe. Witness every thrilling moment right now. The government has introduced training programs, blogs, and organized hunts to attract female hunters. This movement not only challenges stereotypes, but also protects crops and restores ecological balance. The huntress appears intensely focused, taking careful aim. A gunshot rings out. But wait, do you think the boar has been taken down? Oh my! Look at that! She has just taken down a massive wild boar. Another undeniable proof that you should never underestimate a female hunter. Oh wow! These two women are not only beautiful, but also incredibly strong and professional. See? Hunting wild boars isn't just for men. Now, let's watch how they handle these fierce creatures. Oh, and there it is. An unlucky wild boar has fallen. But wait, this is no ordinary boar. Look at its enormous size. Its thick fur, razor-sharp tusks. This beast must weigh at least 150 kilograms. Wild boars don't just flee, they can fight back when cornered. So, if you plan on hunting them, don't forget to bring the right weapons, maintain a safe distance, and always have teammates for backup. They participate in hunting not only to control invasive species but also out of passion for outdoor sports. Unlike male hunters who charge in boldly, female hunters often rely on patience, precision, and the element of surprise to take down their prey efficiently. And here's a perfect example. An artistic, well-executed shot just took place. Indeed, hunting wild boars is no easy task, especially when these monsters can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour and react with lightning-fast reflexes. She wisely positions herself downwind to avoid detection. You see, wild boars have an incredibly keen sense of smell. One careless move and they can detect you instantly. The first shot rings out. Oh no, the boar is too fast. Look! Oh my, that shot missed too. More and more female hunters are participating in legal hunts to manage wildlife populations and contribute to a multi-billion-dollar hunting tourism sector. Oh no! With just one precise shot, the boar collapsed on the spot. What a powerful takedown. Oh my god, a rain of bullets just poured down. But give up? Never. She decides to continue hunting at night, when wild boars are most active. Truly, after witnessing such impressive moments, who dares to doubt the strength and skill of women anymore? They're most active. And so, after a long and challenging day, these female hunters have successfully taken down wild boars, an outstanding achievement. However, hunting wild boars requires careful preparation, from weapons and tactics to safety measures.